GCs tend to actually, kind of put other people in front of themselves. Like, I'm gonna take my
Correct.
shirt off for you, right? So
And praise to death.
Kyle challenged them one day where it was like, of course we create these lists and we said we're going to do XYZ, but then he was like, let's attach a punishment to it if you don't get it done.
Hmm.
And the punishment was not even for us, it was somebody in our group had to do something. So it was like, oh my God, if I didn't do XYZ, Kim had a punishment on my behalf. Do you know how
Hmm.
horrible that would make one feel to know, like, Kim, you gotta take care of the house with the husband and the kids, go to work, blah blah blah, and add on Regina's extra mess because Regina didn't do what she said she was gonna do. So that's the stinker right there, to know that. And then if you think about it, instead of me looking at it like, Kim, I'm doing that to my kids. If I don't do something that I'm supposed to be doing, I'm delaying something for my kids to receive because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Happy Wednesday, my goal getters. How are you? Welcome back to the Getting the Win Show. I'm your host, Melissa T, the procrastination bully. Welcome back. In today's episode, I'm interviewing Regina McKenzie, who is the boss, the head lady of Get It Done Solutions, which in my opinion is like the best name for a business ever. But she fully embodies that name. She helps business owners get connected to government contracts. And there are a lot of key practical tips that she provides here in being productive and preventing procrastination. So, this is going to be an episode where you want to take notes. Stay tuned. As promised, I have the one and only Regina McKenzie with me. Regina, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
So, first of all, you've got to tell our audience about the business, which has the best name ever, people. It is called Get It Done Solutions. I love that. That is so to the point.
Yeah.
But tell our audience about Get It Done Solutions and what they can expect when they reach out to you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for the compliment on the name. Get It Done Solutions is a business consulting firm that primarily focuses on the art of basically preparing emerging and established companies for success in the government arena. So we
Hmm.
provide a range of services from boosting internet presence, assistance with certification applications, capability statements, proposal write ups, and even sourcing suitable contracts for the company. With these tailored services, we ensure you gain a solid foothold on the dynamic landscape of the government contracting world.
Got you. And that's pretty big. There are a lot of folks that form their businesses and think that the only option is out of pocket. But yeah, like
Mhm.
government contracts is a big source of funding. I think I'd seen on the IG, the Instagram, you'd posted like a statistic in terms of the amount of funding that's available out there for businesses or for entrepreneurs and stuff like that.
Which is right now, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't look it up today, but I want to say it's up 17% of
Wow.
from last quarter. So they're
Wow.
spending even more money, and it's like in the trillions. It's like a ridiculous amount of money that's out there. And then there's a set aside like 25% for small companies. And when I say small companies, don't think like I mean, you could be like small, like mom and pops. It doesn't have to be anything big like Lockheed Martin or anything. There's an opportunity out there for us smaller companies.
Beautiful. So share your backstory with our audience. Like what inspired you to get involved in helping connect entrepreneurs with government contracts, and have you experienced that yourself with your business?
Okay, so I kind of like stumbled across the government contracting. It was never like my intention to like really, go full fledged in government contracting. But originally, my husband and I, we started off with a home improvement company, which was called Get It Done Home Solutions at the time, right? And it just became it was a lot of work coming in, basically, right? So somebody
Wow.
was like, you can start doing things around the city, contracting, like doing things at the courthouse and at the jail, and just dropping little nuggets here and there. And my husband and I had always planned on basically getting into the transportation world. And
Okay.
then I heard about government contracting through transportation. So as we were starting to move from the home solutions, and now he's driving trucks right now. This is kind of a setting the foundation for us to get to what our long-term goal is. I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to go in and start learning about government contracting. So when it's time for us to take off running, we'll have everything in order. So it just so happened to be, as I was thinking about this, somebody came up on my page who was actually teaching government contracting. And I fell in love with her because her personality was just so awesome, and she just seemed to be like a very genuine person. So I kind of followed her for maybe about 3-4 months, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take the chance and I'm gonna go ahead out here and actually take her course. Now it was a self-paced course, so I decided let me watch all the recordings, and then I'll start listening to everything to her little weekly check-ins that she had. And I realized, you know what, I can actually start doing some government contracting with shopping contracts where you can like actually just go out and buy items for the government. So I
Wow.
said, let me take a stab at trying to buy some laptops for the government. It didn't work, right? They was like, what happened was I learned something. I didn't follow up on an email that I sent to ensure that it went through, and my email got blocked, so they never even got my proposal.
Gotcha.
So, long story short, pretty much when I got to like my sixth one that I bid on, that's when it was like, this is what's up, because I actually won that one. And I didn't realize at the time what this term BPA means, which is blanket purchase agreement. But it
Hmm.
basically gave me a contract for no, I'm sorry, for 5 years with the Department of Defense. And they have like these little mini contracts that they only reach out to these individuals that's in this agreement with them. And you get between 20 to 30 opportunities to bid on other things directly with them, which I did it under the event planning world. But so that's how it happened. I kind of just stumbled across it, and it's just ran off and turned into something bigger. People started seeing what I was doing and was asking me about it. And I was like, you know what? I love I love connecting people with opportunities and other people. So let me show them how to do it. And that's pretty much how I got into this arena of coaching government contracting.
Beautiful. I love that. And connecting folks with those resources, because usually the the sort of assumption is like that it's a process, it's kind of slow or like super in depth. So it's great that you're able to kind of provide that insight. I wanted to ask a follow-up question. You briefly mentioned your long-term vision. So kind of share with our audience, what is that long-term goal?
Um, well, the long term goal that I'm actually working on, my husband and I are opening up a trucking company. That's the long term goal. That way, when we're tired of grinding every day, we have the trucks out there running already, and we kind of have something assigned for each one of our kids. We have this truck, and that's the plan, so we can have this long term income coming in.
Cool. And connected to that, is that's essentially the 20 what's the 2024 vision for GID solutions specifically, like for this year?
Um, Okay, so for GID 2024, my goal is to secure 250,000 in revenue through government contracting. I don't necessarily have it where it's just any particular contracts that I'm looking for. I'm kind of right now pretty much open to, if I can find somebody to execute the job, or if I can do it myself, I'm willing to bid on it, right? And then I'm hoping to actually have three actual workshops throughout 2024, with the hopes of being able to at least touch between 5 to 10, ideally 10 companies each time I offer the workshop. So
Okay.
hopefully I can, by the end of 2024, I can say, hey, I've reached 250,000 in revenue, and I've touched 30 companies to help them build some kind of foundation to build their company as well in the government world. That's my
Okay.
hopes,
So
girl. That's what I'm shooting for. 2024. Those are the goals.
okay, hey, consider it done. Like we'll necessarily have to we don't necessarily have to hope it. Like
Right, right,
when you consider it done, it's
right.
done. It's done.
Put a bow on it, girl. It's done.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's done. It's done. And those are awesome goals and they're doable. So for sure. And if there's
Definitely.
any way that that I can help you, by all means, let me know. And if there are any
Absolutely.
promotions and stuff with the workshops, by all means, the door's open. We'd love to have you back on to promote them for
Okay,
sure.
thank you. I greatly appreciate that. I greatly appreciate it.
No problem. So as you guys heard in what she shared, this is somebody that's running a business and is also a wife and a mom. So in
Hmm.
other words, very busy. Quite very busy. So how do you maintain perpetual like productivity in your life? How do you what are some of the tools that you use to maintain all of the commitments that you have each day?
Um, I have a coach by the name of Ben
Mhm.
who
Ben!
one day he mentioned staying close to the fire, right? Because we have those days where, I mean, I'm assuming we, but I'm gonna say me, where it gets a little tiring, right? You got to keep yourself motivated and things of that nature. So I would say that the fact that I've stayed close to the fire, even when I didn't want to get on those phone calls with everybody and listen to what everybody had to say, it's not always about feeling like doing it. You can't let your emotions always drive if you're going to actually execute. So the fact that I've
Right.
kept myself around individuals who are actually trying to go out there and get things done has definitely helped me stay productive, because and being transparent and honest with everybody, because when we are on those calls, of course they're going to ask you questions and you have to be
Right.
honest about it. And when you answer the questions honestly, the feedback that comes back from the individuals who's on the call with you, and knowing that they actually care if you're actually getting it done, that
Mhm.
helps. It helps a lot. And that I am grateful for. I'll say that I feel like that's what really keeps me motivated. Of course, my family and everything, they chime in as well, but those calls, those weekly calls, is what's keeping me very productive.
Beautiful. And that actually kind of answers my question on accountability because I know how important that is in terms
Yeah.
of productivity.
Yeah. And
Awesome.
outside of that call with Ben and actually Kyle as well that I attend, we have like a little group section with the ladies where we meet every Monday and we check in literally every day. Every morning we send out our to-do list, and then every evening we check in on what we've gotten accomplished. So, those daily check-ins help tremendously as well.
Let me highlight that real quick for our audience. Like that is a great like tactic to use. Like having those check-ins with whether it's a group or a person where
Hmm.
you're sending the commitments in the morning and then checking in the evening. I love that. Like
Yeah.
that's really awesome. I do something similar, but
Hmm.
we have our calls in the evenings, so we share with each other what we're going to do the next day, and then
Yep.
that next evening we then share what we accomplished. So
Got you. Got you. Melissa,
very
let me
powerful.
plug in here too. I believe
Mhm.
you're familiar. Yeah, you're familiar with Kyle. You're familiar with Kyle.
Yes,
He added
yes.
like a little extra to us because I don't. I met you at the GC group, right? So
Mhm.
GCs tend to actually, kind of put other people in front of themselves. Like, I'm gonna take my
Correct.
shirt off for you, right? So
Athletes to death.
Yeah, Kyle challenged us one day where it was like, of course we create these lists and we said we're gonna do XYZ, but then he was like, let's attach a punishment to it if you don't get it done.
Hmm.
And the punishment was not even for us. It was somebody in our group had to do something. So it was like, oh my God, if I didn't do XYZ, Kim had a punishment on my behalf. Do you know how
Mm-hmm.
horrible that would make one feel to know like, Kim, you gotta take care of the house with the husband and the kids, go to work, blah blah blah, and add on Regina's extra mess because Regina didn't do what she said she was gonna do.
Yep.
So that's a stinker right there to know that. And then if you think about it, instead of me looking at it like Kim, I'm doing that to my kids. If I don't do something that I'm supposed to be doing, I'm delaying something for my kids to receive because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So,
That part.
you know,
Love
that
that.
really helps.
All of what Regina just said, rewind that. Like run that back and play it again. Play it a couple times. That's powerful, and that resonates with me personally because I'm ex-military, and that's how we were trained in the military because we move in a group. So if one
Yeah.
person messes up, the entire group is getting it. You know what I mean? If one
Yeah.
person messes up, the whole group is counted as messed up. So
Uh,
absolutely, that's
yeah.
strong. And Kyle's a genius, by the way. Like this
Yes.
dude.
Yes. Yes. The way his mind thinks is awesome.
Shout out to Kyle Alexander. You know, for folks who follow the podcast, I interviewed him a few episodes back when he was on the verge of launching his Funding My Future challenge. So if you're
Hmm.
interested in running back that episode, by all means, go back there. And if you're new to the podcast, go back and watch that. It was a good episode as well. And just for those watching, you heard her mention GC. That's of course short for Grounds Crew. So
Yep.
you guys already know. We always talk about the flight assessment, which is through ETA, ET the Hip Hop Preacher. That's his version of the disc assessment. So the grounds crew is the S in the
Yes.
disc. Very, we value steadiness. You
Hmm.
know, we're all about helping people. We're very people oriented, but we're also a little bit task oriented too. Like
Yes.
we're the behind the scenes folks. We're the hands and feet that make everything happen.
Yes.
So absolutely. And I wanted to ask you about the flight assessment actually.
Okay.
How first of all, what was your response once you got your results back and was able to get that clear picture or that clear snapshot?
Um, you know, to be honest, before I even took the assessment, I kind of already knew that's who I was because listening to the podcast, I'm not sure if everybody else does this. When you watch a show or something, you kind of try to see who you are, right? So listening to the podcast, I am Carl. Okay. I am the female version of Carl. Like when he speaks, I'm like, ah, that's what I was thinking. Right. So what it really helped me realize is I really looked at myself as not being like I always knew I was good at things, right? But
Hmm.
almost like I don't want to say not worthy, right? But not realizing what my gift is
Right.
truly a superpower. There's people who need me to actually execute on what they have going on. So
Exactly.
when I was able to see that, that's when I realized, oh, I'm really what's up. You know what I mean? Like the rest of y'all, yes, y'all are important. You need me. You need me.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly. And how long ago did you take the assessment?
I took that back in 2021. At the time, I was
Mhm.
a 99 grounds crew and air traffic controller.
Me too.
You too? I'm talking
Yeah.
about strong in those two areas. I will say that I definitely feel like there's been a shift now that I'm very aware of,
Hmm.
very aware of where I scored at that point. Because yes, it's great to be those things, right? But there's always a time and a place for certain roles. So
Right.
I find that very helpful.
Yeah, so that actually perfectly answered my next question, which was how have you seen yourself evolve? What I do want to follow up on with that, because you said something very important, once you became aware that there are basically contexts
Mm-hmm.
in which you tap into key behavior styles, like kind of, I guess, give an example of when you've had to tap into one of the ones that was kind of on the lower end of the scale and how you were
Oh,
able to make up for that.
girl, I'm gonna go with my eye, right? Like,
Okay.
it's crazy because I know when like I may seem very sociable right now. But if you put me,
Yeah.
yeah, if you put me in a room with a whole bunch of people, oh, I I'm comfortable with you, Melissa, right?
Hmm.
Right,
Hmm.
and that's why I can be so hold a conversation, or I don't mind interacting with you. But if I go into a group, or even not even a group, just like meet somebody on the side, just because, like, that's very well was very low for me,
Hmm.
because I don't know if it's like I don't think I'm an introvert, but I can be one. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I realized when I start going to these networking events for government contracting, I can't come in there with no low eye. I'm
That's true.
here to network and get to know people. And if my goal is to get XYZ, I gotta open my mouth. If my
Very
mouth is
true.
closed, ain't no blessings coming. I got to say what I need. So
Very true.
I realized I need that
That
eye to exercise in that room.
that's very important. Run that back too, y'all. Like if you're watching, rewind that. That's a powerful point. Once you're self-aware
Mm-hmm.
and you enter a space and you're fully aware of your context within that space, do whatever is necessary to
Mm-hmm.
accomplish your goal. Like, don't let whatever doubts you have about yourself hold you back, because as Regina just talked about, if you don't do it, somebody else is going to have to pay the price,
Yeah.
whether that's someone directly connected to you, like a family member, if you have kids, your kids, because you're delaying the
Yes.
future that you want for them, or quite frankly, you, like your time is still very valuable. And if you
Absolutely.
delay the thing simply because you're uncomfortable, you're going to have to wheel back around and face it again anyway. Maybe
Yeah.
not in the same networking event, in Regina's context. You have to go to another networking event. You know what I mean?
You got to go again. You got to go. I
You got
remember,
to go again.
yeah, I remember at the beginning, I would come home and be like mentally exhausted. And I didn't even open my mouth. I didn't even open
Hmm.
my mouth. And I was just drained from the energy of everyone else. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, did you, in terms of the practical way that you overcame that, obviously you had an obligation,
Yeah.
like you're there to connect with people to get these government contracts done, but were there any like tactical things that you did to maybe perhaps like watching videos on how to engage people in conversation, research ways to ask more engaging questions? Like, did you do anything like that, or you just went head first?
Actually, I did no research on that. What happened was I mentioned to Kyle on a call, that,
Accountability.
yeah, Kyle, I'm in there, but I'm not speaking. And he challenged me. And
Mm.
one thing I am for is a challenge. Okay, I don't believe in letting nobody
Ah,
outdo me either, though. Right? So he was like, Regina, you got to come up with a number. I never was going there with a number, or a goal of,
ah,
I have to at least communicate with 5 people when I go. At least
love
5.
it.
That's my bare minimum. I have to go in there and I have to have a conversation, extend my hand, introduce myself, and pass my card along to at least 5 people. And then, that's pretty much what Kyle gave me. You got to come up with a number, Regina. And once he gave me the number, I went out. And then I came back and I said, "Hey, Kyle, I did my 5."
So what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Love that. In a way, guys, like the takeaway there is, in a way, you can gamify whatever it is you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like give yourself incremental goals, which is what Regina is saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, especially for those of us who are introverts, like I'll be honest with you, I flip the switch as necessary.
Yes,
But
yes,
I'm the same way. Like if I'm in a big crowd of people, I tend to kind of observe.
right. Let me see what they
I
got going
observe.
there before I say anything.
Right. Right. Gauge where I can be relevant and add value. You know what I mean? So same thing though, but having that number, setting that incremental goal can make it easier to do the thing that is uncomfortable. So make
Absolutely.
sure if you guys are taking notes, write that down. Set
Yeah.
incremental goals to make it easier to do.
Hmm.
Full transparency, Regina, like I had to, my ATC is like at this point 87. It's no longer 99. It used to be
Okay.
99. But I'm big on research. So first of all, I took a master's degree, and one of the books we were required to read as part of my business master's degree was How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie.
Oh,
Yeah, that was like the first month too. Like as soon as we started the class, those were like we got two of the best textbooks on that first month. Developing the Leader Within by Dr. John Maxwell, and then How to Win Friends and Influence People. But the other thing I started doing was I went on LinkedIn and started looking at because there are folks that were putting out content on LinkedIn about that. So I
hmm,
would research that, and sure enough, it was the exact same thing that Kyle told you to do. Like, if you're an introvert and being around crowds is too much, give yourself a number so you're not so overwhelmed.
yeah.
3, 5, whatever works for you.
Hmm.
That way, you fulfill the purpose of being there. If it's a
Yeah.
networking event, you fulfill the purpose, but you don't completely drain your battery either.
Yeah.
You can still enjoy yourself and not come home exhausted.
Uh,
You know?
I was taking a nap when I came home. Like, oh my god, I gotta go to a like I would be home and I'd be like, Regina, you didn't even do anything. It's not that serious, but it was. My body literally felt depleted and literally talked to
Man,
nobody.
unbelievable, man. Yeah, it can be a daunting thing.
Hmm.
So, you know, in terms of what you have going on next, share with our audience what Get It Done Solutions has going on next, because I know you also do those workshops, and
Hmm.
just kind of share with them what's next for you.
Well, what's next for me is just tackling this government world, just like consistently researching, like, because they put out contracts for you to actually bid on, and sometimes I will fall off, to completely honest. I will fall off and be like, I'm not looking for nothing else at this point. So what's next for me is just being consistent on my Monday and my Friday, looking for these contracts and keeping a Rolodex. Like, I keep track of what and who I interact with, and I pay attention to what they're doing, if they're actually making movements themselves, because it may not be anything for me, but I
Mm,
can always give it to somebody else. And hey, if you're interested, there's this contract that's out there. We can, one, team up and I can help you with it, or two, you can fill it out yourself and figure life out at that point. So basically just executing on these contracts that are going to be falling in my lap at this point. um Pushing out these workshops, hoping that people will actually realize that they have to invest in themselves, because if you don't invest in yourself, I can only speak for me. Let me back that
mm,
up. If I'm not investing in myself, I'm not moving forward, and I'm not
mm,
actually executing on the things that I'm saying that I'm going to do. For example, when I had Planet Fitness, I was never going to the gym. But now that I pay an amount that I feel like, oh, that kind of hurt my pockets a little bit, I'm going to show up to where I need to be. So,
mm,
basically putting the opportunity out there for people to actually have another way of bringing in a stream of income. Not sure if I do believe you mentioned this, Melissa, that we tend to get into these, people tend to go into business thinking that they got to come out of pocket at the beginning.
mm-hmm,
But this is an opportunity where you can actually do something where you don't even have to come out with a whole bunch of money. There's janitorial contracts out there. You can get
wow,
paid to clean people's stuff, and you don't need to spend a whole bunch of money. You just got to buy your little cleaning products and you get paid on the back end. So
wow,
To answer your question, 2024 for me and what we have planned is just hitting these government streets hard and getting as much of that money that's out there into my family household. That's my plans. And taking as many people along with me who would like to join the ride.
Amen. I love that. And on that note, that's perfect. Let people know where they can go to find out more about that if they want to hire you, like, hire your consulting services, and where they can
Oh,
connect with you on social media.
absolutely. Okay, so my social media handles is on IG. It's GID dot solutions. On Facebook, you can catch me at Get It Done Solutions. Our website is www.getitdonesolutions.org. Also, I did not mention this, but I am part of a community of sisterhood. It's called SheGovSavvy. So you can catch us over there too on IG, SheGovSavvy, and on Facebook at SheGovSavvy, where we give out free content of information on basically how to get into the government contracting world. You listen enough, you can plug all those nuggets together and get into the world without even truly joining the workshop. The workshop is to accelerate and get you there quicker. If you want to go ahead and kind of dig around and try to piece everything together, catch us on every other Wednesday. We're on live at 7, from 7 to 3, just dropping some nuggets. And feel free to join in the comments, ask any questions, and we'll definitely try to help you as much as we can. You can also go to our website, SheGovSavvy.com, and subscribe. And we send out a newsletter every month with networking events, grant opportunities, some contracts that's out there, all kinds of stuff. And we also have a feature of the month, so you can kind of get to know the ladies and what they have going on as well.
Love that. I love that.
That was a
She
lot.
goes savvy. Love. It's a lot. It's all right. Well, trust me. They got options.
The options.
Our folks at home got options. They've got options. And while Regina presented the option to piece it together on your own if you want to versus going to the workshop, I would recommend both. Like, get your sampling with
Yeah.
with watching the lives, but y'all know me. I am Melissa T, the procrastination bully. Like, I don't want you like trying to piecemeal this together on your own. Not when someone is offering you the chance to accelerate
Absolutely.
the process to get you there faster and probably get you more than you would get on your own.
Absolutely.
That's really what the value is
Mm-hmm.
in being in the workshop. So I would recommend
Absolutely.
do both. And yeah, follow her on the socials, hit her up on the website if you need those services. But Regina, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, Melissa. I really greatly appreciate this opportunity.
Was that not an awesome interview? Shout out to Regina for all the awesome tips that she provided. And hey, if government contracts is something that you're seeking, perhaps you're an entrepreneur, you're watching this, by all means, contact her. Get a hold of her, check out her website. She'll be happy to help you and get you on track to get that extra funding that you need. If you saw the episode that I had with Kyle Alexander, government contracts was one of those things that he was talking about on his Funding My Future challenge. It's one of the alternate sources beside your own pocket or besides using debt to get funding for your business. So if that's something that you really want to pursue, by all means contact Regina. She'll get you together. In the meantime, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Much love to you. And of course, as always, leave your key takeaways in the comments and let me know the status of your hashtag luxury item right now. Where are you with your luxury item? How far have you gotten? How far have you progressed? And if you're encountering trouble, please do not use that as a reason to continue procrastinating. Contact me if you need help, okay? Like, hit me up in the DMs on Instagram. You can reach me on Instagram at Getting the Win Show. I'm on Instagram, Threads, and Pinterest at Getting the Win Show. You're watching me here on YouTube at Getting the Win. So leave it in the comments below on YouTube or DM me on Instagram if you need help. We want to make sure that you move forward in 2024 and get those wins. In the meantime, have a great rest of your Wednesday and a great rest of your week. Peace out. And be sure to check out the merch shop. If you are curious about the shirt, you want one for yourself, you can go to gettingthewingear.com. That way you see this shirt, you'll see a bunch of other accessories as well. We've got hoodies, we've got sweats, we've got all the gifts that you could possibly want to buy for yourself and for your folks to get the message out about being as productive as possible and staying true to yourself. Because the mission of this show is to turn procrastinators into producers. That's why I always task you guys to hashtag get on that. Make sure you're on top of your luxury item. And that way you can rock the gear to remind the world that you are all about that luxury item. You are all about getting things done, getting the goals instead of simply setting them.